Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to start talking about HTML images. Now we're fresh off of HTML links. We talked about how do we link out to the web and how do we link internally. So those two concepts are going to apply here. So I'm going to leave up some of the links that we were working with before, and I'm going to talk about the similarities of linking pages out to websites or linking pages to other pages and then linking graphics. So HTML is not like a Word document, like a Microsoft Word document or a Google document. You can't just put the image directly in the document and expect it to show up. What needs to happen is that you have to have the image somewhere, and then you have to pull it into the document with a link. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that any image that we see on a web page has to come from somewhere. It has to come from a server, it has to come from online, it has to come from your computer. As long as it can get to that image, it can show it in the browser. Okay, so just remember that as we're doing this. Now, the easiest way to start doing a link is to do links internally, actually. Okay, so just like last time, I'm working in the folder called HTML test. Okay, you can see it here. I've got my HTML documents right here. How do I know they're HTML? Well, it tells me right here in the kind that it's HTML, but ultimately the computer knows that it's HTML because you have the file extension .html. So these over here are JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, JPEG, okay? So these are common file compression format, graphic file compression formats for the web. So if you're going to put any kind of image on the web, you're going to use a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG most of the time, okay? Sometimes you'll use other compression formats like SVGs or BMPs or something like that, but for the most part, you're going to see JPEG for photos, and you're going to see PNGs for logos, sometimes photos, diagrams, things that aren't photos, that are still graphics. And then finally, you're going to see GIFs. Now, GIFs are similar to PNGs, but GIFs support animation. Okay, so all those GIFs that you see, like that you send back and forth, you know, whether you're on Discord or Messenger or whatever, or even Instagram, you see GIFs all the time. Okay, and you see them like animate a little bit and they replay over again. So those are animated GIFs, and they support animation. So PNGs and GIFs both support transparency, but PNGs do not support animation. Okay, so just kind of remember that in the back of your head. We'll go over that a little bit more detail later, but those are our three major compressions. Now, in order to do an image tag, it's actually very easy. All you have to do is put in your tag. You have to put in something called IMG. Okay, now IMG is one of those self-closing tags. That means that we don't need to have a /img. That won't work. You can see that it's red right here in brackets, okay? And I think it will show up red in Notepad++ as well. That's because this doesn't exist, okay? This closing tag for image doesn't exist. The way that we close our image tag is that we have a slash right before the end of the close of the beginning tag, okay? So just remember that. There's no /img. You don't need to close it that way, all right? So right now our image tag, it's in there, but it's not really going to do that much. I mean, we can test it. I can show you. This is untest.html. I'm going to drop untest.html into here, and you can see that nothing shows up, okay? Nothing shows up. The reason being is that there's no image source, okay? We have to source that image or link it in for it to work. Okay, so let's go back to the HTML page. I'm going to type in an attribute called src. Okay, now src works just like href. Okay, so the structure is the same. So it's going to be src equals quote, and now you can see I got a whole list of things right here. Look at that. I've got Bob the Builder, Dude Walking, NHS GIF, SpongeBob. Let's put in SpongeBob.png. Okay. So it shows up right there, and SpongeBob.png is actually one of the files that is in my folder, okay? So again, this concept of internal linking holds true. It holds true for images, and it holds true for HTML links, like the href, okay? So in this situation, I got it in there. I'm going to hit File, Save, and then Refresh. And there he is. SpongeBob is now inside my page, okay? And what's interesting is that if I click on him, I can actually save the image. So the image is right there. I can save it. I can do whatever I want to it, okay? And here's a couple of things that you might want to think about when working with images, okay? The image right here, SpongeBob.png, it has a size to it, okay? So you can actually resize your images in HTML, okay? So in order to get info about SpongeBob, you right-click on it, and you go to Get Info. Now on Windows, it's going to be Properties, okay? So you're going to right-click and then click on Properties of the image in Windows, okay? But you can see over here on Mac, it gives me everything I need to know about this image, okay? And it tells me right here how big the image is. So the image is actually 250 by 250 pixels. Okay, that's how big the image is. Now remember, we're on the web, so pixels are our unit of measurement, okay? So what does that mean? That means that since I know how big it is, I can actually resize it if I want. So 250 by 250 is actually a square, and that's good because I don't have to do any conversions. I can just make this 125 by 125 if I want. If you want to do 50% of the original size, or I can do 100 by 100, or I can do 50 by 50. If you want to do 20% of the original size. So let's try to reduce it by 50%, okay? So 50% of 250 is 125. So over here, inside my image source, after the quote, I can put in more attributes, okay? There's two attributes that I can put in here. One is called width, okay? And the next one is called height. Real easy, right? Width and height. And then after that, I'm going to put a space there. But width, what did we say? 125. Height, I spelled height wrong, is 125. Okay? And let's see what happens. Okay? I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to refresh it. And now he's 50% the size of what he was. Now, what's interesting is that we didn't actually change the size of the graphic itself. We didn't change it as a PNG. We just changed how it shows or displays in HTML. Okay? So over here we have image source SpongeBob.png. Width is this by that. Height, width is 125. Height is 125. And we've reduced it. Now, if we want to go even smaller, let's go to 50. We can make it even smaller. Now, I'll show you the idea that we didn't actually reduce the size of the PNG. We're just showing it differently in HTML. So File, Save, and then refresh, and he gets even smaller. Okay, so he's real tiny now. Now, to show that we didn't actually change the PNG, we can actually put in the image tag as many times as you want. You can put the same image in as many times as you want. It doesn't even matter. Okay, and remember, I'm copying and pasting my own work, so it's not an issue. Okay, and then this one's going to be the full size. So I'm going to just take out width and height and just have it like that. Okay, so this image right here, same image 3 times. This image right here is going to be its full size. This is at 50%. This is at 20%. Okay, so let's save it. File, save, refresh, and then there we go. We have SpongeBob at 25% or 20%, 50%, and 100%. Okay, so you can see here that I've reused that image 3 times in a row. So HTML doesn't even care about how many times you put the image in. It's like put it in 100 times. I don't care. Okay, but the idea here is that I can keep putting them in. The other thing you got to realize is that images are inline. Just like A tags up here, the images are inline tags. That means that they will not create their own space in the page. Okay, they'll just go in wherever you put them. So if I want an image to show up at the end of this paragraph down here, all I have to do is put it in there and it saves. File, save, and then refresh, and then there he is down there again. Okay, so that's just, you know, a demonstration of that we can put in the same image 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 100, whatever times, and it'll show up, okay? Now, let's go and try some of these other images. I'm going to erase that one. I'm going to go into IMG src equals quote. Remember, it's double quotes. And then I'm going to close it. And then in here, I'm going to type in dudewalking.gif. Now, dudewalking.gif is an animated GIF. So we're going to just put it in and see what the browser does. Okay, so File, Save, and then refresh. And you can see right here, I have dude walking. Okay, so that's an animated GIF. And he just plays. He just plays, and it's real easy to see. It's not a problem, okay? So let's talk about a couple more things. One thing is that you can actually link in images that are hosted off of other websites, okay? So if I go to Google and I type in Bob the Builder, okay, and I go to images, and let's say I have an image here that I want to use. Let's see here. And guys, you can always go to Tools, and you can go to Size, Large, Medium. Let's go to Medium. Okay, and let's say I want to use this image. Now, what's interesting is that I can actually link this into my page. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm looking at this image in Google, and I can download it, which I would actually prefer you guys do is to download it, but I can actually link it. So what I can do is I can actually click on the image itself. Maybe not. Oops, sorry about that. No, I didn't want to do that. Come on. So I can actually open the link in new tab, right? So once I've opened the link in new tab, oh, it keeps going to that. Let's try another one. So I go to open, open image in new tab. It's open image in new tab. All right, and you can see here, I actually have the full link to the image. So this is the full link that will go to the image. So if I click on this whole thing right here and copy it, I can actually put it in the source right here and then paste it. Let's do another image tag. I don't want to overwrite this one. IMG src equals quote, and then I paste it in, okay? Now what that'll do, okay, is that will actually pull in the image. You can see that there's the PNG right there. It'll pull in the image directly into the page. Okay, now this is pulling in from the internet. It's not pulling from your computer, okay? So I'm going to save it. File, Save, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to refresh it. Now you can see right here, that image got pulled in. Okay, that image got pulled in. It got pulled in from the internet. It's not from my computer. So this concept of relative linking and absolute linking or linking out to the web still applies to images, okay? And it will apply to other things as we move on, all right? So the last thing I want to talk about is, well, I have these images and sometimes you might have a lot of text. How do we get an image to kind of like go next to the text? All right, next to the text, okay? So we can do that very easily. We can do that with an attribute, another attribute called align. Okay, so in this situation, I'm going to get rid of these other two SpongeBobs. Okay, I'm just going to use this one SpongeBob right here. And I'm going to put in, before the close of the tag, I'm going to put in align equals quote left. Okay, and what that'll do is that will align the image to the left, and then the text will flow up next to the image. So you can see right here in this image tag, we're using 4 attributes. The source, the width, the height, and the align, okay? So I'm going to go File, Save. I'm going to refresh it over here, and look at that. My text now goes next to the SpongeBob image. So we learned a whole bunch here. We learned how to pull in an image from either your computer or online. We learned how to size the image, okay, width and height. And we also learned how to align the image. And we can align it to left, right, center, whatever. Okay, we can actually align it to the right, and we'll take a look at that. And now SpongeBob's all the way on the right, text is over there. Okay. So again, just to sum up, we can pull the images in. We have to pull the images in either from the internet or our computer. And additionally, we can resize it and we can align it. Okay. So this will get you started on a couple of those projects that we have. If you have any questions, please contact me and have a good one.